Tchaikovsky's Chanson, Triste. It's a lovely legato, very mellow. It's a very sad song, as the title states. It's a great piece for practicing vibrato, for practicing long, flowing legato bowing, and for practicing having your arm take you to these new positions. There's a lot of repeated notes. It's a great place if you need to shift after, say, 4 of the same notes. Great to shift in the middle of the 4 of those same notes, because you really hear, this is the note I want to hear when I've shifted. It gives you a good point of comparison as you're moving around the cello. It leads you into some very nice changes of colour where you're using stopped notes, or when you're using harmonics as well at the end in the coda. So what you need to aim at is getting as smooth a bow change. Try doing it in different parts of the bow and see which is more comfortable, or which actually sounds nicer. Now look at this. I just played 5 crotchets, but the 5th one I used a faster bow. Why? Because the next bow is 3 beats long. So this is what we refer to as bow distribution. You have to think ahead. There's the length of crotchet. Suddenly I used a much faster bow. I combined a faster moving bow with a much lighter bow, because my aim is that we don't want the note that has to get us to a new part of the bow, because that's what we need for something that's coming up afterwards. We mustn't make it sound different. Unless it actually requires that it sound different, we mustn't change the music to suit technical limitations. We have to rise to the technical challenges. I want to be in that part of the bow by then. I've got to do it somewhere else. I mustn't change the effect of Tchaikovsky's first 5 notes being equal. Okay, so this is what I do. So actually, whether I'm using that or this, it'd be too much for all of them. But by going slightly lighter and faster, I can get to the end of the bow, which then gives me all that bow for the next 3 beats in one slur. So things like that will happen. You need to look out for these in the piece for yourself. And you have to sort of practice in your reaction. And if your note sticks out because you used a faster bow, you have to compensate for that. You have to make that not stick out. Okay, so equally, when I'm going for the B flat, the C and the D are in normal first position, just like the first 5 notes were. The B flat should not have you moving back for the B flat. Reach for it with your first finger straight. You don't play that B flat with a curly first finger, because it takes all the other fingers away from their notes. They, especially the pinky, which is the shortest finger, they need to stay where they live. First finger is strong enough to reach out for the B flat, so take care of that. So that bit. Then we switch to the same note, but with the first finger. Now, whatever bowings you're doing with your teacher, or whatever fingerings, the important factors that you need to pay attention to, you want to shift with the arm moving your hand to each new position. We don't want fingers searching for their notes, because then their neighbouring fingers won't find their notes, and you're having to adjust every single note. It won't be successful. You have the arm take the ready-made handshake to the new position. So no matter what bowing or fingering I demonstrate to you, or what you have on the page in front of you, as long as you shift with the arm, it will work. And as long as you think ahead as to which part of the bow you need, and you ensure that when you have to move a faster bow, you make it lighter so it doesn't bulge and stick out, then you'll cover everything you need to. Okay, so from the beginning, if you change the bow, upper arm, you get a much smoother bow change. Now look, I go to 4th position here, and I use a harmonic. Now harmonics are great because actually we do need to use a faster bow just to make them speak. You can't play a harmonic quietly. You have to think that you're playing fortissimo. And then that's followed with an open D. So a little bit of a nudge with the bow to make the open D speak. And you see I used a lot of bow on that harmonic because I've got 3 beats that follow in a slur. So I have to have enough bow that I won't run out. So you hear that? I did a shift in the middle. Match up the notes, whether you're playing it with a 4 or a 1. As smooth as you can make it, faster bow. So you have more bow to play with. Now we're crescendoing. So a faster, heavier bow. Switch. Whole bow. Save the bow on the long notes. So things like this. This is bar 13. We have a 4th finger, switch to a 1. You've got to be careful not to get that happening. You want to compare. You can practice until it really sounds the same. And more bow because you've got 3. Save the bow there. When you go back to your 4th finger, make it robust. You don't want that. So plonk it down, strong pinky. Whole bow, slow bow to not run out. Shift back to the D natural. Smooth bowing. Smooth. D string 4th position. So you're going to 4th position there, and then shift back. Now if you're doing the fingering, if you're one of my students, you will be doing, so the next note down that your 1st finger is currently sitting on, you're going to line up 3 with that position. So you're actually in 3rd position. 4th position, 3rd position. Now throughout all of this, it's great to start using your vibrato. If you've already been learning how to do this with your teacher, go for it, use it. Don't use a vibrato if you've heard it from somebody else who's trying it out as well, but they also haven't been taught it, because you want to use the right technique. It's a very, very natural movement. It's like waving your arm. I will do another video on how to practice learning vibrato, but don't tense up to try some vibrato. Talk to your teacher. They will show you how to do it. But it's important that you do the right action, the right movement, the right tiny amount of effort. That's the really important aspect of it. And it's a motor, something you've got to be able to maintain all the way through a piece if it required it. So it can't be created by tension. But this piece, because you've actually got 5 beats on one note. So it's just the bow changing the notes. So it's a great place to start to practice your vibrato, okay? Shifting back. Look what I did with my arm. As I shift back, I lift. It's like it's lifting the weight off the finger that I'm currently playing to allow the arm freedom of movement to the new position. And the arm takes us to the new position. There we go again. Nice, robust pinky. Pinkies shouldn't be weak. Now that needs to be as a smooth string change as you can create. If you do it be smooth. You want to do it like your bow doesn't know it's changing string. The only way you can do that is by lifting the upper arm. So you can practice that. Okay, so gentle bow stroke for the open A. Now there as well, look, I did a fast bow, then a slow bow for the 3 slurs that work. So I do a fast light and then 3 slightly heavier notes on a slower bow so that I'm not going to run out of bow. So fast bow and light, and then change the weight of the arm on the bow so that you can maintain the volume, which is what Tchaikovsky is asking for. Actually, he's asking for a crescendo. So you can maintain the weight. You increase the weight for a slower moving bow. So fast light and then heavier bow. Arm takes you to the new position. Fast bow, slow bow. Arm does the shift up to a B flat. Now that B flat, semitone above harmonic A. You know where harmonic A is. So, 4th position, go up with a 3. As you shift, keep the bow flowing. That will help your arm to keep flowing up to that B flat. Okay, so harmonic. And after the harmonic, you come to a robust pinky. This pinky has to be immovable. It's like, no, this is where I live. Don't push me around. And it's strong in its little way. So we have, did you notice? I actually let go of the harmonic and it's still playing. How do I do that? I keep the weight that the bow was at when I was playing the harmonic with my finger. I maintain it as I pull the bow along the string. So you have to match up the connection of the bow biting on the string through the rest of the bow, and the harmonic should speak for you, which allows you to leave it behind with your left hand and be ready to place the next note in while your bow's still playing the full length of the harmonic. I'm not doing that. And I'm showing you by lifting my fingers off a long way that I'm making the harmonic work. I wouldn't suggest you lift your fingers off that far. Just, that's the kind of movement you need to work on. So we have save the bow. Arm takes you to the new position. Strong pinky, straight across. The great thing is when you start to use all these new positions, you often don't have to shift, but you'll find a lot of notes are on neighbouring strings under the hand. It's just because you're using these nifty new positions, and suddenly there's a whole new world of notes out there that you can reach with minimum effort. So where are we? This is bar 33, 4th position, straight across, home to 1st position. Now I go back to 3rd position, 4th, shift up. Harmonic. And there, look, I had 4 notes. And I want to make a one bow note sound the same as the 4 slurred notes in volume, in intensity. So we have so I use a fast bow, but I'm not using the same weight because it would stick out. So but I've gone to 4th position. harmonics not that far up, it's only that much above your fourth position. Remember that, it's not miles up the cello. Then of course you'd go back to the beginning. So you want to get your bow change coming from here. If you do it from your fingers, it'll be bumpy. Listen. Too lumpy. Do it from the shoulder. And remember, that much for the first 4 crotchets, that much for the 5th crotchet, because you need that much. You need to be in the beginning of the bow for the slur that comes after. Watch the bow distribution again. Slow bow, and I'm not running out. The arm takes your hand. Lift the wrist to go to the lower strings. Now I do a little down bow here. I'm in the position for that long note. Little down bow, but it's the same position note because you come back. Now look, harmonic. Bring your elbow forwards. Back to 3rd position. Straight across, straight across. Harmonic D, harmonic G on the G string. Now put your first finger there. 3, 2, 1. And that should be a really long note. Now if you look at your music, you'll see that the last 2 bars, there's no harmonics in there. So from bar 45, use the harmonic here, use the harmonic, find it, then you put your first finger on it, and then you press it down. But you can't do it if your arm is still back here. You have to bring your elbow forward just a little bit, makes all the difference. So slow the bow down, really slow bow, and I'm tipping my bow right on the side, so I'm only playing on about 5 hairs. If you play on the flat of the hair, you'll get a very full sound, which is wrong for this point. Triple P and a diminuendo.